Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get free denial. Hey, Drake's got plenty of it. Why not you? What's going on, Hilltop Mafia? Listen, as you guys know, I am in the middle of doing a breakdown of this Kendrick Lamar album, which has been massive so far. But unfortunately, we're going to have to just hit the pause button yet again and take another detour because there's a situation that I don't want to let just run away with on the internet without weighing in on this, because this is absolutely wild to wake up and read this today. Drake accuses UMG and Spotify of scheme to artificially inflate Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Drake has initiated legal action against Universal Music Group, all hail Lucy baby, and Spotify over allegations that the two companies conspired to artificially inflate the popularity of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. In a filing Monday in a Manhattan court, Drake's Frozen Moments LLC accused UMG of launching an illegal scheme involving bots, payola, other methods to pump up Lamar's song, a track that savagely attacked Drake amongst an ongoing feud between the two stars. UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practices, attorneys for Drake's company write. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves. Drake's attorneys accuse UMG of violating the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, or termed RICO. Wow, Young Thug is going to have nightmares after reading this. Statute often used in criminal cases against organized crime. They also allege deceptive business practices and false advertising under New York state law. This is real life. So I'm well aware that Drake is on his Petty Get Back campaign tour right now. He just went on an XQC live stream, threw some sly little side shots at Kendrick, just talking his talk a little bit, took a shot, said that he's still here, he's still happy, he's still healthy, acting like everything's okay and he's moving on. But then he bends his head down and all of a sudden it's like, hang on, what's going on there? You're looking balder than my mom going through her chemo right now. But stress, anxiety, trips to Turkey, and hair replacement surgery later, he's going to be all right. I also thought it was interesting that he announced that he's doing a tour halfway around the world in Australia around the time that Kendrick Lamar is going to be doing his Super Bowl performance. Coincidence? I think not. Drake really wants to have his TV turned off. Yeah, Ketchup's been real quiet ever since that drop. But before we dive into how this just makes Drake look even worse and it's an automatic L for him, like he's basically at this point acknowledging that he lost the battle, he can't beat Kendrick on wax, so now he's going to turn to other means to try to win. Let's actually try to understand where he's coming from and sort of the perspective and worldview of Drake and why he would think, according to his world and his team, that this is a good move. And this, to me, comes down to Kendrick's critique of Drake throughout this battle and some of the issues that Kendrick took up with Drake. Drake has been at the top for so long. He's been successful for so long, and no one's going to take that from him. But I think that there is a downside to that celebrity, to always having to be tuned in to what's trending, to be tuned in, doing the interview circuit, doing the social media, being involved with that celebrity status. Drake is always in the public eye. He really does relish being famous. You could tell that he enjoys that. He enjoys the power, the authority, the money, the wealth, all of that comes with it. Whereas Kendrick, is in contrast very isolationist compared to Drake. Kendrick is more on a spiritual journey. He likes to keep more to himself. He keeps more to his family. He doesn't really share a lot of that outside of his music on social media. He doesn't tap in that way. He doesn't really care about what's trending and keeping tabs on who's next. Kendrick is just on Kendrick time. But I think that sustained amount of celebrity for so long, if left unchecked, if you don't really have soul searching, if you don't have moments where you can really come away from it, you basically have all these people telling you how great you are all the time, right? You're surrounded by yes men, and obviously the success and all the wealth help to reinforce that. And I think that there is a danger to that. And a vibe that I have gotten from Drake over the years with all of his beefs and the way that he likes to send indirects, the way he likes to move, what a lot of people will see as petty, he really does hold on to grudges. He doesn't let things go. He doesn't really find peace through his battles, through his beefs. He's always seeking revenge. He's always seeking vengeance. And as much as he tries to portray that things don't get to him, they really do get to him. And I think that ties in with his celebrity status, right? And there's a certain dichotomy. And I think that just ties in with his celebrity status and the way that he moves in the world, right? I think he constantly seeks this attention for validation. But really, when you start to peel back the layers, much in the same way that Kendrick did, you start to see some insecurities. And why does he let these things get to him so much? And why does he have so much vengeance? And why does he get so petty? But for me, I think it's really interesting just understanding how this comes about. This comes about because Drake in his world is still convinced that he won this battle, right? And Drake is now looking for excuses. He's getting more and more frustrated and more upset that people on the internet and others are saying that he lost this battle. So what is he doing? He's trying to find somewhere to just place all of his anger, somewhere to place all of the blame. So in this case, let's point the finger at UMG and Spotify. Let's point it at this conspiracy to inflate the numbers, because that is the only way that Kendrick could beat me. Think about it from Drake's perspective, right? Think about, again, I'm trying to paint you this picture so you can psychologically understand where this man is coming from, right? In his world, if you take away those streams, if you take away that inflation, then thus the song doesn't get as popular, thus less people don't talk about it, thus less people ride the wave, and there's probably more fans and more people that stick with me and follow through on my popularity because he thinks that people are sheep and they'll just follow whatever's buzzing, whatever's trending, and therefore Drake wins the battle. So for him, he's blaming all of this and he's pinning all of this as the reason he lost, not because he got, out concept by Kendrick, not because Kendrick had more poignant disses, not because Kendrick beat him in this battle lyrically. No, his reason is that it's all based on the numbers. It's all based on this artificial inflation. That's the reason why he lost. So I think there's that motivation and that root cause going into it. And I think that's why you start to have these conversations and why you start to talk to a legal team and see if you can make a case and make this happen. Combine that with his pettiness and his need for revenge, and then you just have this concoction and this mixture of why this is happening. Now let's talk about the obvious in the middle of the room. No, I'm not talking about the K. I'm not talking about the M. I'm talking about the L. We all know the street code of no snitching. We know how the culture and the community look on that. So the fact that Drake is now turning to a federal example, that he's turning to the law, that he's basically going yet again as another example of against certain unspoken rules within the culture to try to get back at Kendrick instead of just solving the problem as a man and dealing with it himself. You can see how a lot of people are going to view this as an auto L and as just a weak, petty move that is just an acknowledgement that if he really thought that he won and he beat Kendrick, then why would he do this? Bringing the feds into this, bringing the law into this, I don't know what world and who's advising him that, hey, this is the right decision. Maybe in another genre of music, but not in hip hop. And I'm going to call this right now. It's been, 6+ months since Not Like Us dropped? He's complaining about numbers getting inflated. What do you think that this case and all of this PR and situation is going to do? It's not going to have the effect that you think it's going to have. All it's going to happen is that it's going to make people now go back and listen to the song again. It's going to make people in protest stream it more and listen to it more, all because of this situation that Drake has now created. So in a weird roundabout way, by attacking the company who signed him in the first place and kind of cannibalizing himself in the industry under which he operates, he's also doing Kendrick a favor and helping him with his song. But I don't know. I'm just a guy who has melanin deficiencies and a camera and a YouTube channel who posts videos talking about stuff, and sometimes people want to hear what I have to say. So that's that. Back to our regularly scheduled program. See you on the next breakdown.